What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul, bringing you the latest on Survivor Ghost Island, Episode 4, which just aired tonight. Okay, guys, so first off, I just want to say that it's just me tonight. Dave and Chris are not around or couldn't watch the episode. It happens sometimes, but they'll try to be back next week. Okay, but let's just get into the episode. So we just came off of an interesting tribal council last episode where a lot of members on Navidi, or the members of the original Navidi tribe, on the new Navidi tribe, got blindsided by the old Malolo tribe on the new Navidi tribe. Okay, I know it's like a goddamn mouthful, but that's the best way to explain it. So they get blindsided and they vote out Morgan. The plan was to vote out Angela. That was everyone's plan. Then some people talked about voting out Dominic. Dom's plan originally was to vote out Chris, but Chris was at Ghost Island, and a lot of a lot of hubbubaloo basically. And so they get back from tribal, and Dom and Wendell are like, listen. Well, Dom's basically like, listen, do any of you guys want to talk about this? Like, we know this happened. So let's go ahead and talk about it. And they're like, no. And then I think he tries to talk to Angela too, and she's like, no thanks. It's because he wanted to like try to explain it. Definitely was not happening directly after a tribal. I see Patty's in the chat. How you doing, Patty? Good to see you. Yeah, so then Dom and Wendell end up talking, and they're like, listen, we're both together. We're both like on the bottom of this tribe together. Let's try to make something happen. And then, they give each other like a fist pump. And they're like, I'm with you to the end, basically. And Dom tells Wendell that he has an idol, like an idol for real. So it's pretty exciting. I think this is the first person Dom told that he had an idol to, like, for real, for real. Like, we had like this case the past few episodes where Dom was just like, yeah, I have a fake idol. Okay. It was just kind of like, I still think it was a weird move on Dom's part to do that. Also, the next morning, Dom finds Morgan's legacy advantage. So, as you guys know, Morgan was willed the legacy advantage early on in the season, and now she has, because she's voted out, she willed it to Dom. And now Dom basically has an idol and a legacy advantage. So he's in a very good position right now if he can twist things around and start getting the numbers. So I don't know. We'll see exactly what happens there. I like Dom actually. I do. I like him a lot. I like his personality. He's he's loud. He's loud and energetic, and I like that in a cast member. And I like that in a person too, but especially in Survivor. Let me know what you guys think of Dom down below. So we jump into the reward challenge. By the way, this episode was so focused on Navidi. Like they didn't show any Malolo until they lost the immunity challenge, which of course I'll get to. Bodie says Bradley is great. I don't think Bradley is great. I think Mike is great. Mike impressed me a lot this episode. Bradley, he was like breathing hard this episode. He was complaining a lot last episode. I don't know. I'm very impressed with Michael. Wasn't able to convince Sebastian or Chelsea, but God, it was such like a good speech. Like that kid's got that kid's got charisma. I got to give it for Mike. Bradley, it remains to be seen. As of right now, I still see him as kind of like a little whiny. But I don't know. Maybe his gameplay will show me otherwise. I mean, he's certainly okay in this episode. Okay, so back to the reward challenge. Basically, it was like the 2v2s, and they had to collect the ring and bring the ring back to their pole. And the first to three wins basically wins the award, the reward, not the award. So, and the reward this time was peanut butter and jelly. Like they had like this huge thing of bread, and like this, peanut butter and jelly. Just very simple. simplistic reward. And, obviously they haven't eaten in a long time, so they appreciated it. So Navidi versus Malolo. Um, Honestly, Navidi dominated this challenge, and mostly due to Laurel. Laurel did great when the females were up. Chris did amazing when his time was up. Sebastian did very good for Malolo. I would say, like, you're starting to see like the tribe dynamics a little bit, like who's really fit and who's really kind of fit, but not fit. You can kind of see like Chris and Sebastian as being like the two main like physical threats in the game, and then like on the female side, it's probably Laurel as of right now. But we'll see what happens later on in the season. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. So they decide Navidi wins the challenge, and they decide to pull rocks, make Malolo pull rocks to see who's going to Ghost Island, and the person who ends up going to Ghost Island is Kellen. So she's sent to Ghost Island, and she's like, "Oh, this is probably fate. I'm probably here for a reason. Yada yada yada." And I don't know. Like when she was sent there, I was like, "Oh, cool!" Like they're doing like this big hype up. Like there's like a reason behind her going. I really thought she was gonna win something. Because the last couple of times they sent someone to Ghost Island, it was just like, yeah, I'm going to Ghost Island, and it's just like nothing's here. But there was actually like a build up this time, which I thought was, you know, giving the audience something to expect. But instead, Kellen decides to make an interesting choice. I'm not sure I agree with it. It did work out in the moment, though. She decided not to be selfish by trying to open up a water bottle while holding a mic. It's not a. It's not easy. Hold on one second. Okay, so she decides not to pick. Decides not to pick either. Yeah, she decides not to risk her votes for the advantage. I'm not sure I agree with that. It did work out for this episode, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below about that. Questionable move in my decision, in my opinion, not my decision. If I made the decision, I might have made a different decision. All right, so we go back to the Navidi tribe, and again, it's really Malolo. They don't go to Malolo. They don't go to Malolo until they lose tribal. It's so like you rarely see this in an episode. They always go one tribe, then the other tribe. But this episode, it's all like, oh, it's all Navidi all the time until hey, guess what? Malolo loses immunity. Oh! Okay. Anyway, back to Navidi. Chris and Angela, or Chris is like, okay, what the hell happened? Because he's just getting back from Ghost Island, and he's like, okay, well, what's going on? Why is Morgan gone? I'm kind of confused. And Angela's like, our tribe turned on me, and Chris is like, well, if they turned on you, and you and me are close, that really means they're turning on me. And kind of like thinking, okay, so that means we have to flip and go with Malolo. And that's basically the thought process. So they all get together. They kind of like, okay, look, we got to get Dom out. Dom's a sneaky player. This is Chris, Angela, and all of the original Malolos on the yeah on the new Navidi. God, I'm still never gonna get used to like that wordplay there. Okay, so they get together and like, listen, Dom's the biggest threat right now. We got to get Dom out, or Wendell out. So that's basically the gameplay that they come up with. But Laurel and Donathan are thinking kind of something different. They both get together and they're like, I don't really like Chris that much. I do like Wendell a lot, and they didn't really talk about Dom that much. They like Wendell. So honestly, so Dom was saved through his relationship with Wendell because Laurel and Donathan both like Wendell. Hey, I mean, hey, if it works, it works. So they kind of get together. Wendell talks to Donathan, and Laurel talks to Dom. And Dom tells Laurel, "Look, I have an immunity idol." And Laurel's like, "Wow, okay, that's great news. Okay, and it kind of looks like she's wants to them both want to stick with Dom and Wendell. So let's think things are looking pretty good on their side. And it looks like whenever the vote is going to go down between Dom and Wendell, that one of the that they're going to split the votes. So all they really need then is if those two flip, they're basically good to go to get one of them out, get one of the others out. Things are looking pretty good. And the goal is to get Chris out. They don't like Chris. Chris is a big threat, and that's just. We remember last episode, Chris was being very domineering towards everybody, and things really haven't changed that much. Although from the scenes of the next episode, it looks like things may change a little bit. But we'll get to the scenes after I'm done with this recap. Okay, so let's get to the immunity challenge. The immunity challenge was rather fun. So they were in like this cage, and they had to open the door underwater. Then they had to swim out. They had to pull this cart as a tribe to finish the bridge, run over the bridge, and then toss 5 balls on top of balance 5 balls on top of like this arch. And the first tribe that wins gets immunity. And Navidi was so behind this entire episode. I was like, wow. I was really thinking that this Navidi tribe was cursed. Because I think they lost 3 times in a row, the Navidi tribe. They went to the immunity. They lost immunity 3 times. I believe. Let me know down below if I'm right or wrong about that, because I do recall them losing that many times. But I don't know. I could be wrong. So yeah, and the video was behind, and Malolo was so well ahead, and they get to the shooting portion of it, Malolo very early, while they're still pulling the bridge. Like right before they were pulling the bridge, they took a long time to hook the rope to the carts. And just a lot of things went wrong for Navidi this time around. Which it happens sometimes, but the result was what was interesting, because they ended up coming back at the end. They both had 4 balls shot up, and what happened was that Navidi won immunity. And I was frankly excited for them, because this was the first time they won. And I'm just like, yes, because I don't like it when a tribe loses all the time. It's not a fun season when one tribe is dominant. I know you guys probably agree with this assessment, but it's more fun when it's more evened out. Although with a tribe switch early on, things are a little whatever at the moment. But it is what it is. I think we have 3 original Navidi and 1 original Malolo out at the moment. All right, so let's get to Malolo. Finally, they're showing an inch of Malolo this episode. So we get to the Malolo tribe, and first off, Kellen's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I didn't take that advantage, because if I took the advantage, then we wouldn't have the numbers to vote out someone from the original Navidi tribe in the new Malolo tribe." Hey, hey, hey. Things are just reversed now. All right, so this is my impressions. Bradley was being very, very cocky. He was like, "Oh, I was actually kind of happy that we lost, because now we can just vote one of them out." I was kind of like, "Okay, that's kind of like I don't know if that's mean. I don't know. Well, okay, it's Survivor, right? We've seen worse behavior before, so I guess I shouldn't feel so bad about it, but." I don't know. He's kind of like, "I'm glad we lost, because I would get to vote someone from our tribe from the other side off." I guess in a way it's good strategy, because you do want to get that done earlier rather than later. So I guess that Bradley kind of has a point here, because if enough time passes, then they could have built a relationship with both tribes, could have built a relationship with each other, and new alliances could have formed. But because it happened earlier rather than later, things were still divided between the original tribes. So I guess in a way, Bradley was correct in his assessment there. and it was kind of maybe it was a good thing that they lost. Also, the number advantage only goes up from here, and with that idol play, things are looking pretty good. Okay, so they want Bradley out at this point. The Malolo, the Navidi Malolos. They want Bradley out, and it looks like the original Malolo, who's still currently a Malolo, are wanting to get out Mike. They don't want to go after a girl because they think that they have a higher chance if they have an immunity idol of playing it on a girl, which ends up actually happening. So that's pretty good news. We did have like this little moment of Stephanie talking with Bradley. Stephanie was like, "Look, I really don't want to go home," and Bradley's like, "I don't know what to tell you. We'll see what happens." And Stephanie's kind of just like, ugh, like very, very bothered with it. So Mike has this plan. So they go to tribal. Also, Desiree, was it Desiree? I think Desiree wanted to get out Brendan. Yeah, so Desiree wanted to get out Brendan, and Chelsea wanted to get out Mike. But it looked like the consensus was Mike. But then we get to tribal, and honestly, like things just go out in the open. Mike starts being like real inspirational, like so inspirational. He's like, "Hey, look, I know you're on the bottom, but we're only working. Us four only working together because we have to, and I'm willing to extend my arms out to you guys." And I was like the look on Sebastian's face, because he said Sebastian and Chelsea were at the bottom. The look on Sebastian's face, I was going nuts. That dude was really seriously considering flipping. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, it definitely popped into his head. He's like, God damn. Maybe Mike's right. What do I do? What does he do? But, well, what he ends up deciding to do, obviously, was to still vote with his tribe, which, still makes sense for his game. Then Mike whips out his immunity idol, his James immunity idol, and says, "Hey, look, this is my immunity idol, and it's James's old immunity idol, which means I get to use this twice." So he lies, which is a beautiful lie. Like, no one even questions it. Like, this dude's amazing. I am a big Mike fan. Like, I wasn't a Mike fan a few episodes ago, because he was against Dom, wasn't he? Yeah. Because he was going against Dom. I really like Dom, but you know what? Forget all that stuff about Dom. I like Dom on that tribe. On this tribe, I like Mike. All right. Let me know what you think about Mike down below. I thought it was very, very impressive. And Bradley was like shaking in his boots. It was so funny. He was like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no." He was trying to stay calm and collected. And Mike and his tribe basically said, "Listen, we're voting out Bradley, so if you want to come join with us, come join with us." So the votes come down, and it ends up being, well, Mike first uses his immunity idol. He makes a fox play and says he's going to use it on himself and Mike, but then he ends up using it on himself and Brendan, and he ends up using it on Stephanie. The votes come out, and Brendan is voted out of the game. Honestly, it was a good episode. It really, really was a good episode. I was disappointed with the lack of development of Malolo. I'm hoping that's not a trend. You know what I mean? Like, usually if they don't show something, that usually means that there's nothing to show. You know what I mean? Like, that means there was nothing really happening in the 3 days at Malolo that changed at all until the immunity challenge. So if that's what's happening in Malolo, then they'll probably have to do a tribe switch at some point. Like, Navidi is the more interesting of the two tribes right now with their dynamics. Malolo sticking very old school, very Boston Rob-ish, which is what Bradley said he was going for. And, maybe it'll turn out the way it did. It will turn out to be like a Boston Rob season. Who knows? Not me. All right, so I'm going to end it there. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. I want to thank you all. I want to thank our supporters. And if you do support us, go check out our Patreon link down below. Every little bit, every little contribution helps. Also, if you donate $3 or more a month, we will, or I will, whoever's doing the video will personally shout out your name at the end of the video. And while we're at it, let's start with the shout out. So I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Patty. I want to thank you, Patty, for supporting us. I want to thank Peggy. Thank you, Peggy, for supporting us. And I want to thank Peter. Thank you, Peter, for supporting us on our channel. I want to thank you guys so much for all you do for our channel. For always watching and just being supportive of me, Dave, and Chris, of doing what we love. And if you guys want to be a part of that, check out the Patreon link in the description box below. Also, please subscribe to our channel. Our YouTube has recently changed its policy on monetization, meaning that you need 1,000 subscribers to be monetized. So our channel is no longer monetized. So if you want to help in other ways that aren't monetarily, then please subscribe. Thank you so much. Until next week, where I'll hopefully be covering episode 5 with Dave and God forbid Chris if he's ever around. Until next time, peace.